Good, man. How you been?
Good, good.
Good,
Uh,
good.
it's been a
All right.
while.
Yes, it has.
Uh,
Now, welcome to the 81 podcast. It is your host, Asif Ali. I am joined by today's guest, my San Jose City College brother, San Jose State alum, 49ers, CFL, and international defensive back, Manu Ngatikaura. Manu, how you doing today, brother? 12 years, man. How you feeling?
yeah. Oh, feeling great, man. It's good to be reunited. Yeah, after 12 years, a lot of things changed. For both you and I. You know,
100%.
I, I
100%.
I like what you're doing as well. With the podcast and just it seems like you're enhancing the football community and connecting people and just sharing a wealth of knowledge, man. I've been following a lot of the guys you've been bringing on, so that's good. Yeah, keep it
Yeah,
up.
100%, man. We're gonna keep it going, and now you are the next guy who's gonna be on.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. And you've seen these already, but
Oh
anyhow,
yeah, yeah. Hey, shine like a diamond.
sound like a diamond. All
Uh,
right, so let's start off. Obviously, you and I we met at San Jose City College. We'll get into that a little bit. Let's start with
yes.
your early years, right? You obviously played. You were born and raised in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
808 State.
808
Uh-huh.
State. So kind of talk to me about what your first sport was, kind of what your kind of
Uh-huh.
love was, as an early age as a kid, and what kind of got you into football.
Yeah, so I mean, growing up in the island in general, I mean, I tell people it seems like it's a little different than out here in California. I mean, obviously it's the island, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so since age 5 or 6, um, as kids after school, we just go to the park and we just play sports. And it typically is basketball and football. Those are the two sports that I grew up playing first,
Right.
uh, just throughout childhood, I would just play it, informally at the park with friends.
Mm.
But then I started to lean and gear more towards football in 6th grade.
Okay.
And then I started playing in Pop Warner. I excelled at that level. Then I continued into high school. And then, I did okay. When you start early, sometimes I know you didn't start early, right? You
Yeah.
started late. So
Yeah.
sometimes, it seems like it could be a good thing to start early, but then the downsides of it is you kind of get burnt out, and that's what happened
Right.
to me in high school, right?
Right.
I got burnt out, but I was at a great school. I mean, Hawaii in general, it has a strong football culture. That's like the top sport, and the fact that there's no pro football teams there um, is the reason why people treat high school football as the pro teams, and people really follow it, and they're
Yeah.
really passionate about it. And the high school I went to was Kahuku. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's one of the football powerhouses out there.
Hmm.
um, at one point, we actually had the most active NFL players.
Wow.
So yeah, we were nationally ranked, throughout the years. But like I said, Hawaii as a state is evolving. Traditionally or historically, it was more so just like a lot of linemen, right,
Yeah.
were getting recruited from
Oh
there.
yeah,
But
bro.
yeah, over the, because obviously Polynesians, they're big and strong, and they do well in that position. But over recent years, it started transitioning into the skilled positions, and I think more recently, the position that Hawaii has actually been improving in is the quarterback position. I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the quarterbacks that Hawaii's putting out, right? So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, so that's where I grew up, and that's where I started my football career. Um, and then surprisingly, after high school, I thought I was gonna stop playing football. I hung up the cleats. I thought I was done because, like I
Yeah.
told you, I burnt out. I was over it. Uh, I played since 6th grade. I was 8 years old. Played for about 10 years old, 10 years, and I was just over it. But then Coach Connor, he came to Hawaii for a football camp,
Yes,
and
sir.
I was over there actually working at the campus, the college campus they had it at, and they were doing the football camp, and I was just working, taking a break. I was doing landscaping, and they asked who were some of the good athletes out there, and a lot of the guys were pointing at me. You see that guy over there landscaping? Oh, he's legit. You should work him out.
Right.
So sure enough, I did a little workout. Coach Connor said, "Man, I like you. You should come to San Jose City, and I mean, and that's where the transition to San Jose City happened. And then, I did my years there, and then I met you over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so
Um,
obviously let's talk about that, right? Because
yeah.
now you're burnt out, right? And kind of
Yeah.
let me talk about my experience just a little bit to kind of kind of I guess transition, to kind of your
Yeah.
journey at this point.
Of
My journey,
course.
my experience was that I went to Foothill High School here in the Bay Area, Foothill High School here in
Mhm.
Pleasanton, and we were actually we were kind of like powerhouse-ish. We were like all
Hmm.
EBAL, right? We were like good. Like the coach at that
Okay.
time was John Mannion. John Mannion's son, Sean Mannion's in the NFL. And so, I
Mm.
mean, that's like he's still in the league. He's a quarterback, right? Like you said,
Mm.
like your high school produce quarterbacks, my high school also produce kind of quarterbacks and linebackers. But
Mhm.
I wasn't able to play because of my grades. My grades were not good enough.
Mm.
So basically, by the time I got my grades up, it was my junior to senior year. It was junior spring, and so I had the option to try out without any prior experience, or I had the option to just try to take my shot. Originally, my plan was to play semi-pro because I wanted to
Mhm.
kind of do what you did, and we're gonna get into this and play at state. I wanted to walk on to
Okay.
state. But
Okay.
because of the fact that I realized that no one takes semi-pro as seriously as they would take like you going to a program,
Uh-huh.
I tried to kind of shop around. I went to Chabot, I went to VC, I went to
Uh-huh.
all the local JUCOs in the East Bay, and they're all telling me, "Hey kid, you have no film, you're shit out of luck. You're just best luck
Uh,
on the leg." I went all around, and just by chance, I had to take a math requirement. And the only place that would take me at that point to actually that would actually satisfy the requirement was San Jose City College.
yeah.
And then at
Okay.
that point, I look it up. I'm like, wait, there's a football team. And I find out about Coach Connor. I reach out to Coach. He said, come to my
Yeah.
office. And then we start talking. And then he's like, you ever played? I said, no. And then he said, okay. And then he's all like, are you willing to work? I said, yes, sir. He's like, are you willing to make practice 5 days a week? I'm like, yes, sir. You know what I mean? And then pretty much the rest is history. I'm a 17-year-old, 135-pound little twig, uncoordinated as shit, trying to figure
Yeah,
this shit out.
a lot of us are like that when we were younger. I wasn't
Exactly.
that big myself.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are roughly the same size, like 5'10",
Yeah.
185. Yeah. So I mean, so
Yeah.
you can relate, you know what I mean? But it was just like and so for me, and the first fact I get there, I can't remember. You remember? I mean, you're there. I mean, but Coach Dub and then James Jones is there, lacing up his cleats doing the ladder, and this is my
Oh
first
yeah.
ever practice, and I'm watching James Jones just do the ladder and just fucking hit the drills, right? And so for me, and I told Coach Dub that last week, and he's gonna be back on tomorrow. So I mean, he's gonna be on Darius Prince, and we're gonna talk more about this. But I mean, or
Yeah.
more about experiences, right? But it's just like, and you obviously know this because you were there longer than I was, right? At San City.
Yeah.
But it was just like it was so surreal for me, right? So kind of talking about your experience, right? When you obviously you think you're done, and now you're here. You started at San Jose City, and
Yeah.
kind of talk to me about that. You know?
Yeah. So then, I transitioned from Hawaii to California, and that alone was a culture shock. I
Right.
mean, you go from an island to a major state like California. You go from a place where it's all paradise. It's just calm, relaxed, slow pace, and come over here and California is fast paced. People are more
Exactly.
business oriented, and
Yeah.
they're not as you know engaged and wanting to have a long conversation. They're just like get to the point, and I'm like, oh, that. So people seem a little bit more firm. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just that alone was tough, and then um, just knowing that you have to, you're young, right? And then you have to go to a place where you don't even know anyone, you don't even know where you're gonna stay. So I mean, that process alone, just trying to adulting, I guess, right, is what they
Yeah.
call it.
Adulting.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was hard, man. That transition alone was tough, and then also being away from home, I had no family out here. Well, I mean, not my main family. I had some cousins, in the East Bay, so that was helpful. But yeah, when I got here, I've been out of um, the game for at least a year, so I have
Yeah.
to brush up on my skills. And as you mentioned, I met Coach Dub, and everyone knows about him. The GOAT,
Everyone.
greatest of all time, and
Go.
everyone says nothing but great things because
W. Pharrell.
yeah, yeah, he's the type of coach that will help you reach your maximum potential. And that's what he did with me. And I will always appreciate him for bringing or pulling that out of me, because I needed someone to pull it out of me. You
Yeah.
know, I remember, just like in general, you might think you're good right in high school, and when you go to the college that you plan on playing for, you might still think you're the man, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of like hinders your play or kind of sets you back. So I kind of had that kind of attitude when I got here. But then I realized, oh man, I got to change that and just try to humble myself and realize that I'm nobody, and I just got to work, right, and
Yeah.
build my reputation all over again.
It's crazy.
So
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing was just the thing I love most about Dub. I mean, he helped me get that Mamba mentality, as they talk about, because I didn't really have that. Oh, I like the Lakers.
Exactly, man.
It goes along in line with that,
Yeah.
and just being obsessed, and I mean, just all those talks that he would give us after practice, it would eventually to sink in. It's almost like he was casting a spell on me, in a good way.
Yeah.
And I remember he used to always tell us, you always have to have football on your mind 24/7. There's not a second you can't be thinking about football. And I took that to heart, and I actually did that, which is why I was able to have a lot of success. I mean, even when I would walk through the grocery and I'm coming around the corner, I'm about to turn left, I would imagine me doing a little plant step and make the sound effect that he would always use when you do your cuts, like yeet, yeet, So I mean, you seem like you're a crazy person, but I mean, sometimes you gotta be crazy to,
100%, brother.
To do well in this game, So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just super glad I was able to meet him. He helped me just get that mentality. And then, I mean, even outside of football, he was like a father figure to me, and he's someone that, I always appreciate. Yeah. Along with Coach Shearer, though, because there was Curtis Shearer. I don't know if you met him as well. He was a baller himself. Yeah. And when Dub left, he was the one that I was still working with. I mean, I was working with Dub when Dub was there, but I was working with Shearer as well. And yeah, it was just a perfect combination of guys to be working with. And Coach Shearer as well, man. I mean, he was with the Niners at one point, and he showed us a picture with him, Jerry Rice, J.J. Stokes, and T.O. And he was part of that wideout crew, and I was like, damn,
boy.
So I mean, for us to be getting that type of knowledge at San Jose City College, we were fortunate.
Yeah.
It's not every day you get that kind of quality coach.
And to your point, that's the thing. I remember Dub. And I told him this last week. Yeah, and Dub was talking about his story, because I didn't know about him being, at San Jose State prior to joining City, how he was actually homeless, for a brief amount of time.
I know. I listened to that podcast. I was shocked. He was talking about he was sleeping in the room, and the cleaner would come in and be
bro. I was like, what? And then, because what, James Jones, right? He was also homeless growing up. He used to go up in homeless shelters.
Oh yeah. That guy. Yeah, he was a baller, man.
Baller, bro. You remember how he
one of the best from San Jose. Or if not
bro,
the best.
His route running was just so nasty, bro. I was like, how in the fuck am I supposed to even reach anything close to this? I mean, I knew I was going to the NFL, but I was like, how does he do this? You know what I mean? I was like, how? So, but yeah.
I mean, another notable wide receiver or wideout at the time that was playing with Dingo. I know Dingo gets a lot of the credit, but John Brassard.
John Brassard, John Brassard Jr. Yep, yep.
He was with the Jaguars. He was a speedster. He was fast, so he'd be out there. So I mean, I know what you mean. You're trying to run routes and you see these guys. It's a little discouraging, just a little bit. You're just in junior college, coming out of high school, and now you see these NFL guys running routes. No big deal. You'll just go right after them.
That was my biggest fear. I would always go to the back of the line, like the very back, just so I can make sure that, you have you, Welker, Larry, or Dimitri, or whoever else who could just go in front, and then I'd be on the back. I'm like, no, bro. Let me go after you guys, the progression. Yeah, that was...
Oh, yeah, Larry was nice, too. Lacadi. I mean, he's a local guy, too, right?
Yeah.
San Jose.
Yep.
He went to one of the schools out here. I want to say Oak Grove, maybe?
Oak Grove, yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and Larry actually visited my high school. I remember that first practice. He's like, "Oh, you went to Foothill at Burnell?" I'm like, "Yeah." How'd you know? He's like, he was there. And I forgot who. I'm not sure, Dimitri was Strick or someone else. He's like,
oh,
what were you doing there? What were you doing, Larry? Were you running routes? He's like, he's just getting working. So, but Yeah, man,
Yeah,
it's
we had some good guys there. I mean, like you mentioned, Larry, Kenny Strickland. Jeez, man.
yeah.
Um, Kevin Gonzalez. I'm not sure if you remember
Oh, I
him.
remember him. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah.
smaller,
Kev.
undersized guy, but he was quick from Bellarmine. I think he went to John Marquez. He played tight end. A lot of those guys too. They were able to continue on and go play at 4-year schools, and I think that's the good thing, and
Jerome
that's the
Meadows.
goal.
Jerome
Oh,
Meadows.
Jerome. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
We went at it. He had a good bump. He would get me sometimes. I would get him, but that's what it's all about, right? Competition. And
Yeah.
man, he went to Cal, man. That was huge. That was huge. That was one of the probably biggest schools that San Jose City was able to send someone to, right?
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
You know, it's funny.
Oh,
At Lofa Tube when he was on, he was talking about how they consider him a slow Samoan as pro day. I'm like, I remember I played against I played against fast Samoans, and that fast Samoan is on the other side of this interview right now. Talk to me. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
talk to me about
Yeah.
kind of your speed, and obviously, like,
Mm,
because with San Jose City, like for me, the biggest lesson I kind of took away was kind of it's a melting pot, like you said. You know what I mean? Wait, well,
yeah.
I'm at this level. NFL guys are here. Other guys trying
Yeah.
to get to 4-year universities, all that kind of stuff. So kind of talk to me kind of about like what kind of built your athleticism. Was it
Mm-hmm.
natural genetics, or was it kind of because
Mm-hmm.
obviously we're gonna get into this obviously next segment, but like you transitioned, you were a wideout for the majority of your time at City, and then you
Yeah.
transitioned to DB when you went to State, right? So kind of
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about kind of your athleticism, kind of your ball awareness, kind of how did you build that? You know?
Yeah, so like I was telling you, like the island life, right? Growing up in Hawaii,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where my athleticism came because I mean, just as kids, we just run around all day after school from age 5 to throughout high school,
Yeah.
and then obviously when you get older around junior high and high school, you start becoming involved in more organized sports. So that's where I built a lot of my athleticism. Um, but at the time, I wasn't really into track, right?
Mm.
Uh, so I knew that was something I wanted to add to my two belt. So after playing I want to say my first year at San Jose City College,
Mm.
I realized that I wanted to get my speed up, and my speed was average. It was okay, maybe like 4.6, 4.5, but I wanted to get down to 4.5, 4.4, 4.3, right?
Yeah.
And I started running track at San Jose City,
Yeah.
and that was it right there. Just running track with Coach Lundy. He was a great coach of mine that helped elevate my game as well,
Mm.
on the speed aspect of things. And the 2 years I ran track at San Jose City College, man, that helped me elevate my speed from 4.6, 4.5 down to pretty much 4.4, 4.3. And man, just having that speed boost my confidence a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was already good, at a um, I guess uh, place where my athletic ability was good. But then now you add the speed to that, I just felt like I was just at another level, right? And then I could see it when I would go one on one now with the guys at the junior college. Like the separation was huge just because of
Yeah.
the speed alone, right?
100%.
So yeah, so that was really good, and it actually helped me when I went to San Jose State because I created that separation right at San Jose City with that new speed that I added to my two belt.
Yeah.
But when I went to San Jose State, everyone was at that same speed, right?
Exactly.
Everyone was at that same speed. So you
Yeah.
see the change of speed in the game, obviously, when you go up a level and then another
100%.
level. Yeah.
100%.
So
Each
yeah,
one of
that's a little bit. Oh, I see the rings. I
yeah,
see
yeah,
the
yeah.
rings.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Please, please, please. Go
Oh
ahead.
no. So I mean, yeah, when you asked me about my athleticism, a lot of it was from childhood and high school, but then the speed kicked in when I ran track at the junior college, and I actually did really well. I mean, at one point, I want to say when I was running the 100 and 200, um, I want to say top 20 at least in
Yeah.
the Northern California for the 100 meter.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because I mean I knew I was fast, but I didn't think I would ever get like track fast. And to say I was amongst the top in Northern California junior colleges, was an accomplishment for me and something that I was happy that I did, I guess. Yeah.
100%, man.
So,
100%.
but
I mean, it's
yeah.
definitely something to hang your hat on. And
Hmm.
obviously you were able to develop your speed and kind of just refine it. And it's all about refining. You know what I mean? That's all it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people too, they're hard on themselves or they see me or when I would compete with them, but I tell them, man, if you just do the same thing, I mean, no,
Exactly.
I'm serious. Like, cause I do, I would do all my workouts, whether it was football or track, but I wouldn't see a lot of people out there doing it either. And then when they say like, how could I do it? I tell them it's not magic. Like, bro, you just work. I mean, it's mandatory that if you work out or if you run consistently, like for years, you're gonna get faster.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you're gonna be same speed as me, but you're gonna be faster than you were when you first started, right?
100%, and that's all you need. You may not be the fast. You as long as you're improving yourself as an athlete, that's all you need
Yeah,
to. Yeah, people are so caught in comparing themselves to other people,
yeah,
rather than focus on self improvement. So I think that's a really important point.
yeah.
Now, now, now we're done with now. City's coming to a close. Now,
Yes,
Coach Dub
sir.
is leaving Fresno State.
I
I
know.
realize I have the opportunity to stay, or I can go to West Valley, and I'm going to go West Valley.
Hey, me too. I was out.
Exactly. Like,
Coach Dub's out. I'm
I'm
out
out,
too.
bro. I told Coach Dub that too, and he's like, okay, yeah. It's like he knew why. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now we're in 2009, I believe, right?
yeah,
2009. So
yeah.
now you are in the situation, or you're now in the position to. I did you have any offers after City,
Yes,
or yes? Okay.
yes. It was no D1 offers though, and when you're at a junior college, the dream is to go D1. That was my dream.
100%. Yes.
And after playing hard 2 years and hoping for that, that didn't happen. I was bummed out. I really was.
Yeah.
And the only opportunities I had to go play scholarship wise was a school in South Dakota, I believe, called Northern State.
No
And
shit.
then Menlo, which was local, right? Menlo
Yeah.
College.
Me too. Menlo, yeah, walk
Oh,
on.
you too?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were talking about some money, primarily like through academic scholarships and stuff, which will help cover a lot of costs and just other ways to try and get my expenses paid off. But man, I had my head wrapped around playing D1, and I knew I was good enough, and that was like the tricky part because a lot of the coaches were saying you got money on the table with this D2 school, just take it. And I'm like, oh, I'm not even about the money. I'm about D1 ball, and I know
Be
I'm
one of the
good.
best.
I know it, and I kept telling myself I know it, but people were like, just take the money. And at the last minute, I said, wait, hold on, and it was hard because I would go back and forth telling this school, okay, I'll come. Then I'll
Yeah.
say, wait, hold up. But then I told Coach Dub like, oh man, I want to go D1, man. Something in my heart is telling me I need to go D1, and he said, you sure you want to go D1? You don't want to take that money that's on the table? I said, no, I want to go D1. Can you help me out? And he said, all right, just give me like a day or two. And that's when he made his call to the coach at San Jose State, which is now the head coach, Brent Brennan. He was the
Brent Brennan.
wideout
With wide
coach at the
receivers, I
time.
remember. Yes, he was. Brent Brennan. Yes.
So, luckily, I guess Coach Dub had that relationship with him, and he told him, "Man, I got this guy. He's nice. I think you guys should give him a chance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh,
My boy
and then,
Manu. He was.
yeah, and I'm glad that he put that word in for me. And regardless of whether Brent Brennan knew me or not, he knows Coach Dub, and he knows that Coach Dub won't, you know, recommend someone if they ain't worth it. So Brent Brennan, he took me in there and he introduced me to the head coach and said, "Hey, coach, I got this guy. He did some great things, and I think he could help our team out." And the coach at the time was Dick Tomey. Rest in
Dick
peace
Tomey,
to
yeah. Recipes
Dick
Dick
Tomey,
Tomey.
man, great guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And man, he gave me the green light to be a preferred walk on.
Oh wow.
And he said, "All right, we'll see what you got." And
Yeah.
then, I mean, like you say, the rest was history. I made sure that they would never regret giving me that opportunity, and I made sure every day that I showcased my skills and was able to find a spot on the team. So that was my dream come true, man. And it was just a great feeling to know that I could actually go to a D1 and compete, and then eventually I would earn a starting position and then a scholarship. So yeah, it's a cool story to me, at least, because I almost
It's a
didn't
cool
have
story
that
to me too.
opportunity. You're right.
Everyone.
Right?
All listeners, this
Yeah,
man went to D1 and got a
yeah,
scholarship as a walk-on. That was
yeah.
my dream coming out of high school. That's cool.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then more than anything, it's good for people like you mentioned who watch your or listen to your podcast that are currently at a junior college
Right.
locally, right? Or
Hmm.
they're still in high school and thinking about doing that,
Yeah.
because the more success stories they hear, the more that they can believe it could happen to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was a great experience at San Jose State. I loved it, and it was almost like everything we would dream of, right? When we're at the JC. I
Yeah.
remember, I still remember as a JC guy when we'd be practicing and we would see the San Jose State guys come, we'd
You
all like
remember
be
that?
starstruck, like,
Oh my
oh my
God, bro.
gosh, he plays at State, like, damn, that's the safety, or that's the wide out, or that's the quarterback,
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me to actually be those guys was, just surreal, I guess. But that brings me to a point that I always share with others to believe in yourself, and not to be too starstruck by guys, no matter what level they're on,
Yeah. Hmm.
because at on any given day, um, I mean, you could take them out, right? On any given day, it don't
Say it.
matter. I mean,
Say
David
it.
and Goliath, man.
Yes, sir.
Like you too, you could probably just go one on one with the NFL guy, and you
Easily.
might get him. You might route
How do
him
you
one time,
how do you think I got these, brother?
right? Shit. So
And that's an important point, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I mean,
yeah,
I think
no, no, feel free.
because
Yeah.
for me, I was that kid that was starstruck because it was like I said, it was my
Hmm.
first time ever competing in football on a practice field with guys who were
Yeah.
at D1, the school I wanted to go to, and
Right.
guys from the NFL, right? And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I read about these guys on the San Jose State website, and I'm seeing them at my fucking practice facility. I'm not my practice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. You
hilarious.
say San Jose City Fair. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I ended up like you said, you talk to them. They're just regular dudes like you, and that helped me kind of. Cause I trained with Adam, the QB, Adam Tafralis, the
Oh
20,
yeah, yeah.
2009, 2010
Another
off
baller.
season,
Yeah.
and that's before my combine. I had combine SaberCats after my sophomore
Oh,
season.
cool.
Yeah, and so that was 2010, and so that kind of helped me. I was like, you know what? If Adam says I have the ability to do it, you know what I mean? That's one thing I really loved about
Hmm.
working with those guys. They would never try to shoot you down, but they would say you got
Yeah.
to also know your limitations as an athlete, but just keep pushing. Just keep pushing because you
Yeah.
never know. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
your point is totally accurate. So
Yeah. And yeah, I like how you um have that mentality where you're just gonna I think like Jesus said, right, ride till the wheels fall off.
yes, sir. Why does the wheels fall off?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like how you guys think, and that's good. I mean, that's all you can do,
yeah.
and
That's
then
it.
see how far you go. It's like, I think they say you shoot for the stars, and if you come out short, you land on the moon or something like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, oh, that's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about that scholarship and that starting position because you were recruited
Yeah.
as a wide receiver, but that's not the
Yes.
position that you got a scholarship for. Talk to me
That's
about that.
not. Yeah. So, that was rough because working with Coach Dub, man. Um, we wide out for life, man, and that means for life, So it kind of broke my heart, and I know it might have,
Ah!
made him feel a certain type of way because now I
Yeah.
went from being a wideout to being, on the other side, and you know how he
Dark
feels about
side,
those
boy.
guys.
Dark side,
So
boy.
yeah, things ain't the same now. He's like, oh man, you're my guy, but I don't know, it's a little different. But
Right.
no, I went over there as a wideout. I did really well. Obviously, when you go somewhere, they have the guys that are in starting roles, and you got to earn your spot. So I was fighting for a spot, and I was doing really well. But at the time, they seemed to have a good amount of wideouts, and they noticed as a wideout I was doing well, but I was also really physical,
Yeah.
hands-on. And then, as Coach Dub says, I was putting them in the sauce, kind of like a chicken nugget, right? You dip
Yeah.
it in the sauce and then you eat them. So
Yeah.
I was doing that, whether it was stock blocking or cracking back and hitting them onto the ground. And they were starting to have injuries on the defensive back side. So they had this idea where they felt like if I moved over to the other side, that I may have a better chance to start, but then also be in a place to help put the team in a better situation.
Right.
So at first, I told him I needed to think about it because, man, I was all about wideout, and that's the only position I wanted to play. So I tried to avoid it and dodge it, but eventually they cornered me. And then when they said scholarship, then that really had my lights,
Your ears went up.
go
The
off.
ears went up.
Yeah, it's
Scholarship.
like, hey, scholarship. We're
Yeah.
talking money now, from
Yes, sir.
walk on to getting money. So that played a factor as well. So then eventually, and then I'm a team player. I don't want to be too selfish where it's all about me. So I eventually went on to play defensive back. They had me as a safety. Yeah. So I mean that was a hard adjustment. I mean I was athletic, I was fast, I was quick, strong, aggressive. But I haven't played DB since I was sixth grade, seventh grade. So to
Yeah.
suddenly be put in that position after not playing it for a long time, was difficult. But obviously I adjusted, and then I was able to master the position and do really well. So that was good. Yeah. And my junior year, I was able to eventually start as well as a safety. So that was another accomplishment that I was able to do when I was at state. So yeah, I mean, it's one thing, right, to say, "Oh, I played at San Jose State," but it's another thing to say you started, right? I guess there's levels.
There are levels.
So, yeah, right. So I feel glad that I can say I was a starter at San Jose State.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a good feeling because I mean, not too long ago, I was just at San Jose City, not even looking like I was gonna ever play D1. And then, I mean, geez, just to play in these games, I remember my first game, man, it was dope. LA Coliseum against USC, man.
Oh
Matt
yeah.
Barkley was the quarterback, and
I
I was
remember that
just
game.
in that. Yeah, I mean, the outcome wasn't nice, right?
But the
We
first
got
quarter,
beat.
y'all hung with them. And if
We,
Lofa
we, we,
Tatupu's listening, he's gonna listen. I'm gonna post a snippet on my IG. Lofa, your fucking Trojans may have got that one, but my first quarter, my boy hung with you guys. 7-0 or 3-0. I forgot what it was that first quarter. And I remember because that game was happening during my first game at Chabot, or during West Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys were playing at USC, and then we were playing at Chabot. And I knew you were on the roster, but I didn't have your number.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know how to say, like, congrats. The social media didn't exist, right? So there's no Instagram.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to get connected like we are now. And that's why I told Lofa too. But I'm just like, you know what, man? Like, I was like, yes, I thought, after I kept checking the scoreboard in between, like, in between reps and in between, like, breaks. Coach was like, why's your phone out?
Hilarious.
81. I'm like, no, coach. I'm like, I don't got my phone. I'm not on my phone, coach. I don't got my phone. I don't got my phone. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're hilarious.
Yeah. Man, it's just like, geez. So yeah, anyhow.
Local, man.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Lofa's great, bro. But like, I mean, to the point, yeah, I mean, like, you guys, you hung in there. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah.
And that experience for you as like a 20-year-old kid just going to LA Coliseum.
I was doing my thing, man.
Yeah.
Jeez, on special teams, I was gunner. I was running right by all of the
special
people
teams,
trying to
boy.
me.
Talk that shit. Talk that shit, boy.
and then I was going head up with Taylor Mays, so that was fun because he was a big time dude, and he was a big dude. He was like 6'13". Solid muscle. I'm like, dang, you a safety? Jeez.
Yeah.
So that's fun, and then I got to play some snaps as a safety as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that's when Joe McKnight was there. Rest in peace to him, man. I was able to play against him, and he ended up doing really well. A lot of them did, obviously it's USC, and great environment though to see the Trojan, man, see all the celebrities. I'm just looking around like, damn, from San Jose City to LA Coliseum.
We made it. We made it.
Yeah, so yeah, people don't realize that was like the real dream for me. I was just content at that point, just happy to be there and just enjoy the ride, as they say.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
It's fun, I mean, you had a great college career. I mean, if I were to Google you, I can see all your stats on ESPN.
Oh yeah.
This state, you know what I mean. So Manu's being modest, folks, but I mean, this man is a baller. Yeah, San Jose State all WAC selection before they joined the Mountain West Conference. So
man.
The WAC. I wonder how many people remember the WAC. But anyhow,
yeah, maybe not too much.
Not too much.
Yeah.
So. Now we get towards the end of your San Jose State career around 2012, I think, right? 2012 was your final year. At this point,
a little bit before, but
a little bit before 2011. 2011,
yeah,
okay,
11, 10,
11, 10. Okay. So yeah, 2011,
Yeah.
2020, 2010, 2011, great college
Yeah.
career, I mean, all whack
Yeah.
or whatever it was, first team,
Mm.
all, and then you basically are now in the position to where you're trying to see what your next options are to continue playing. There
Mhm.
are, I mean, you had your combine, your pro day. Talk to me about what that was like.
Oh yeah. So I mean, pro day is obviously for those who weren't invited to the NFL.
I can hear you. I,
College. Oh, I see.
yeah,
One
I
second.
got you. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me see. I think my AirPods might have a little. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, one second.
Manu's earpods went out, folks, because there's too much fire being spit on this podcast.
All right. We good?
Yes, sir. All right.
Okay. Hey, just another day on your podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
Nothing we can't handle.
Nothing we can't handle, brother. Come on. All right. So your pro day, your combine.
Yeah. So for those who can't go to the NFL combine, you do your pro day at your school.
Yeah.
So I did my pro day, and I had good numbers. I think I had a good amount of like the fastest times. I think I had the fastest shuttle, fastest 3-cone, and the longest broad jump. So that was a good accomplishment just for me,
right? Because
that's usually the goal, right? You want to have great numbers. But unfortunately, after that pro day, I didn't hear nothing back. So it was just a waiting game, and then also trying to figure out what was the next plan. Luckily, not too long after that, during the summer, the Niners, they did a pro day for the local colleges in the Bay Area.
Right.
So Cal, Stanford, San Jose State. I think they might have invited other schools like maybe UC Davis, Sac State.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a pro day at their facility, and they had a good amount of guys. I don't know exactly how much, maybe, who knows, 50 or give or take. And from that pro day, I did well again with my numbers. And, I think they took like the top 10. And I was able to make the top 10. And with those guys, they invited them to come back for a rookie mini camp.
Yeah.
So luckily, I was blessed to go back and do that rookie mini camp at the Niners facility. And when I went back, I did really well in that. And that one was more competition.
Yeah.
Whereas the pro day, that was strictly just, you run your 40, you run, the shuttle, and 3-cone and all that stuff.
Yep.
There's no competition really.
Right.
Maybe running some routes and stuff, or doing your DB drills. Yep. But then in the rookie mini camp, that's when we got to compete. We got to put a helmet on, got to wear the Niner gear. It wasn't no shoulder pads, but it was cool to have the jersey. I mean, I had to, I had to bring the jersey, man.
Look at that.
I have to bring the jersey, man. You like to show your rings,
Yeah, that's going on my IG. The rings, the 49ers jersey, brothers. Yo, 81 podcast. You know what time it is. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool to still have this jersey because, living in San Jose, a lot of us are Niners fans, so we go to the games, right?
Yeah.
And everyone buys their favorite player's jersey. But for me, I get to just wear this practice jersey that I got when I was flying over there. So it's pretty cool. And sometimes people probably look at it and wonder, who's that? Who's number 40? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
It's memorabilia. But yeah, I was able to go to the rookie mini camp and compete against guys, which was, man, another accomplishment, because you remember how I was telling you when you're at City, you get starstruck with the D1 guys, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm here, at a 49ers rookie mini camp, and now I'm going against guys from, big conferences like SEC or, Pac-12, a lot of the guys who were drafted as well were in that camp, AJ Jenkins. I think that's when he was the first round pick. LaMichael James was number 2. Yeah. And then they had other good guys. But yeah, it was cool just being able to compete with them. And then after I went one-on-one and started realizing I could cover these guys and break up their passes. And I even had the most interceptions in that rookie mini camp. That made me realize, man, I can compete with these guys, man. That was a great feeling. And it was another way to just elevate that belief system that I had, right?
Right.
And it just would get higher and higher. And now
Exactly.
you start feeling like, I could do it all. Like, bring anyone.
Bring anyone.
But I mean, that's the power of belief. I know I've been emphasizing it, but it's really important because, I remember when I first lined up, my first guy I went up against in one-on-one was Chris Owusu. And he was the wideout at Stanford, and he did good as a wideout, as a returner, and he was fast, quick, explosive. So when I lined up in front of him, that was the first guy I went against. I was like, oh man, we'll see how this goes. And then when I covered him, I started telling myself, man, I could do this. I could do this. Whereas if he would have beat me, I might have, lost a lot of confidence. But, just a lot of those affirmations helped build my belief system. But yeah, after that camp, I did well, but I got injured on the last day. Both hamstrings got pulled. And as much as they liked me and said, I did good things, at the end of the day, when you're a tryout guy and they already have their guys, they're not going to continue on.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I mean, like they say in the NFL, you only get one chance, and if you don't make it, then you might not never get another one. So, I mean, that was pretty much it.
It is what it is, though.
It is what it is. But geez, I was still stoked to be in there because I remember going in there. I was trying not to act like a groupie. My locker was right next to Frank Gore's, and I was like, oh, gosh. Randy Moss was there.
Oh,
when I walked in, I had the big poofy hair. I looked like
I remember.
right?
I saw. Yeah, you still had the long hair.
So then when I walked in on the first day, the rookies walking in, the veterans all sitting down. They just finished their practice. Randy Moss was there. And he cracked a joke. He said, "Oh, look, we just picked up Palomalu," and that was a cool way to get welcomed into their locker room. And just from there, it was just cool interacting with other guys. I mean, that's the year that they had a stacked team. They went to the Super Bowl. Yep. They lost against the Ravens, the Battle of the Harbaugh brothers. So, that locker room was filled with, ballers. I mean, from Patrick Willis to Navarro Bowman. I mean, bro, I'm walking by these guys. I'm like, oh, dang. Oh, man. Trying to play it cool. But then once I walk by them, I'm like, hey, bro, calling my brother, guess who I just walked by, man? It was dope. So, man. I mean, yeah, I was just glad to have that experience because, I mean, that's not something anyone can say,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then, after that, I was able to recover from my injuries, and then I was with the SaberCats, and then I started working out with them, and they liked me. They offered me a contract, but man, it was the injury bug always getting me, man. Yeah. Just I tore my ACL with the SaberCats, so I was out for a year. After that, came back, then started doing a lot of those CFL tryouts. And I was doing well with the CFL workouts. I mean, even after I tore my ACL, I was able to run a 4.3 still, so, I mean, that was good to know that after you have a serious injury like that, you still can come back strong, if not stronger.
That's the moment.
But yeah, nothing really came out of that. I mean, there was some negotiations to try and fly out there to work out, but no real contracts.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, this Japan team, believe it or not, they got football in Japan. I mean, it seems like
we're gonna get into
overseas. There's so much different leagues, even in Europe.
Yep.
So yeah, I ended up just going to Japan. I played a year out there, and after that, I just hung it up, man. I mean, the ACL injuries I had, and just wear and tear in general was just getting to me, and I just had to cut it off pretty much.
Talk to me about the Japan experience. I want to know kind of the process of how they approached you. What was it like when you had to transition to a different country, It's not
Yeah.
Canada, it's not Mexico.
Yeah.
It's a completely different country. Talk to me a little bit about that, and then talk to me about your season and kind of how talk to me through that a little bit.
Yeah. So the Japan League, the way you get connected or recruited is usually through like a friend or
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Right.
So I had a friend who was playing out there from University of Hawaii. So they tend to ask the players, because in Japan, it's all Japanese players. And then they're allowed to bring 4 Americans in per team, maximum.
Yeah.
And those 4 American players are, the elite players that are supposed to help lead the team, right, to a championship. They're also expected to, coach the players and just give them hope and, all those things, right? So when one of those 4 players ends up, quitting or retiring, then the coaches ask those players for, more referrals. So one of my friends who was playing there, he referred me. And then still I had to try out. They had a little tryout out here in Washington. So I had to fly out there. They had some other guys from Washington come try out. And after we did the workout, then they realized that they wanted to sign me. So they signed me. They paid for my flight to come out there. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And then you're living in another country and you're exploring their culture. I think that was the best part of it. I mean, that, but then also playing football, right? Because that's the game I loved. Bingo. And I was finally able to, at least play one full season at the pro level.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience, just playing over there. And yeah, I did it for a year. And then after that, I just kind of came back, and that was the end of my football career. Yeah, I decided to just hang it up and then just move forward. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's a great way to go out. What year was this, by the way? You're
2015.
2015. Okay.
Yeah. So 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Not too long ago. Not too long ago. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you still look like you can get out there. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. I still do my ladder.
Oh no, I watch. Yeah. Let's talk. Okay. And so actually, let's talk about life post football, right? Because you and I mean, I'm gonna close out your football career with this. Well, I'm not close out with this because we're gonna close out when we actually have to close it. But I'm just gonna say this. In summary, you were able to kind of go from being burnt down in high school to SJCC to walking on SJC, becoming a scholarship player, then basically taking that and being invited to an NFL rookie mini camp with the 49ers.
Yeah.
Then take that, get invited to the SaberCats. I got invited to the combine. I didn't get offered shit. You got offered a contract. And then obviously CFL, I mean, I got offered other stuff. That's fine. The CFL comes bring you around, right? And then you get to finally go to Japan, and your career ends in a different country, and you end it playing the game you love. And it's a very, very illustrious career. Yeah. Now, let's talk about what you're doing right now, because I mean, we'll talk about kind of the coaching and everything like that, because I see that you do that a lot with the kids and on your Instagram. One thing I noticed though, which is really cool, is the community service work that you're doing right now for the less fortunate.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about kind of what that is. I mean, is it just you? Because I see you tagging a few people. Is it you just doing that on your own, or is it kind of like organization involved?
So initially, it started as me just doing it as my own. But within like the last few months, I started getting connected with some people, with some friends. There's these guys who play in the adult flag football community, which is a great community actually. I didn't know too much about flag football until the past few years, where I started, helping them with coaching, and then occasionally I would play. I had to see if I still had it here and there.
Yes, sir.
But obviously, I don't want to risk it, so I always tell them I'll do one here and there.
Yeah.
But then for the most part, I'll just stick to coaching.
Right.
But there's a team called U7 that I was, coaching and then also playing with here and there. So they became involved, and then also just some other friends. It was a clothing drive that I did recently. And I know a lot of people are more than willing to help. So I started taking it to social media just to spread awareness, and the more that I do it now and the more awareness I spread, it seems like the more people are becoming involved, because I know everyone deep down inside, they all want to help, right? And try and restore the community or just contribute to it in some way or somehow. But I know a lot of people are busy, so I try to make it convenient for them to contribute. So that's part of what I'm doing. I mean, and more than anything, I mean, that's something I enjoy, I guess, just giving back to the community. I mean, because that's who helped shape me into the person I am, right?
100%.
From Coach Dub back in the days, or even to when I was a kid in Hawaii. I mean, I think the saying is it takes a community, right, to raise a child. And I mean, that's what was happening in Hawaii, just kids running around. You don't really know all the adults, but all the adults know that you're someone's kid and they'll just take you in as they're your own, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's part of the Hawaiian culture, I guess, out there in Hawaii. So that's part of the reason why I guess I do it now, and it's fulfilling, when you help others. And it's always a good reminder to let you know that you're more blessed than you think. Because sometimes, I can admit I forget, how good we have it, right? And then when I go there, it reminds me like, man, why are you complaining about these little problems that you have? Like, look at these guys, man. They wish they were in your shoes, right?
Yeah.
They wish they had all the things we have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's part of the reason why I do it. Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned the kind of the seeing that how it humbles you and it grounds you. I remember when Lofo was on, he was talking about happiness as a mindset, meaning that if you can have a mindset established, you'll be humble and grateful for everything you have, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't, if you're always kind of questioning, oh yeah, like why can't I X, Y, and Z? And we should always be aspiring, I mean, we should always be aspiring for higher and raising our potential. But but if you're always in that mindset, you'll never really be truly happy or grateful, right?
Yeah.
And I think kind of like that, when he told me that and kind of hearing you, it's kind of like I connect the dots and say, my mindset being happy is being grateful for everything I have, right? But also trying to, like you said, give back. Giving back is the biggest thing, So yeah. And that's why this podcast exists. That's why we're talking. That's why we're trying to, unify and spread the message, And if people want to find out more about that, where would they go? Tell me.
Oh yeah. I'm big on social media. So my Instagram is Manu Boy Jr., Manu Boy Jr. So you can reach out to me on that to get involved with either donating clothes. More recently, we're gonna put together bags, I guess. I forgot the term we were using, but pretty much bags where we can put a lot of stuff that will benefit them. Whether it's toiletries, some food, or right now it's cold, so we're trying to put weather gear in there, gloves, beanies, things like that.
100%.
But also, I mean, that's one thing you can contact me on. But the other thing I always spread awareness on social media about is working out. Because
how about now, you can transition for me, because I was about to get into that. Yeah, I see some of your videos, but I just want to say this. I saw your video when you're riding your bike, and then you carry the bike up the you lunge up the stairs of the bike, and then you do curls of the bike, and then you go back up and down the stairs. And I see obviously all the videos you have working with the kids. Coach Dub, obviously we see his stuff. He works with all types of receivers, all ages, all grades. Wednesday gets Brett Swain. He also coaches kids. I see him coaching kids all the time. It's very
awesome.
It's very similar to what you're doing. It's very similar to what you're doing. Teaching them footwork, teaching them routes, teaching them cones, teaching them hands awareness, teaching them ball awareness. So is that what you're currently fully engaged with right now, or is that just kind of a side endeavor? So talk a little bit about that.
So I got my hands in a lot of different things right now, and that's just one of them.
Right.
It's good just to not only share the knowledge that I have, or just like the other guys you mentioned, right? Coach Dub or Brett, right?
Yeah, Brett Swain.
Yeah, and you have him coming on
Wednesday.
Tomorrow?
Wednesday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great guest to have. A lot of these guys you're bringing on, I don't really know much about them, but when I read into it, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. He's a Super Bowl champion. You have DP. I never knew about him until you brought him on your show or your podcast. And I like the fact that he went from being a basketball player to being a football player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he never played football in college, and like I reconnected because he's our age. We're all the same age, right? Like early 30s. But like he didn't play in college. I didn't play in high school, and the whole mindset was to prove to ourselves we can do it. That's why
That's awesome.
that's how you and I met. I want to go and cheer. I can prove I can do this shit. And he
Yeah.
obviously test your limits. I can do this shit. And I mean, his story is incredible because obviously I played semi-pro my last season in Chicago, right? And
That's good.
semi-pro means a multitude of things. It can mean
Yeah.
amateur, it can mean pro, it can mean indoor. For me, it was all the above. It was like
That's
I was
cool.
playing. Yeah, it was cool. It was a great experience, right? And he obviously and that's how. And me talking to him, I was telling Lo for this. He went from semi-pro. He didn't play football in college, right? He went from football from basketball to semi-pro to the NAL, the National Arena League, to the AFL. He won Arena
Hmm.
Bowl 30 and Arena Bowl MVP, Super Bowl MVP, and then he got to the Eagles practice squad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know much people who could do it the other way around, to go from being a football player then making it to the NBA.
Oh,
Jeez.
we're gonna talk about it tomorrow, Manu. I'm gonna have Coach Dub on and DP. We're gonna talk some shit. So make sure you tune into that episode.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
basketball
Will do.
versus football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry.
No. That's good. I'll tune in. Yeah, like I said, I like what you're doing. I like your drive, man. I like your energy. Jeez.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But no, I mean,
That's
you're saying about kind of the whole point of it, kind of the what you do right now. Your fingers are dipped in a lot of things. You're
Mhm.
coaching, you're training, and you're just kind of being involved, giving back to the sport.
Yeah.
What is your drive? What is your passion to do what you do?
Man, I think, like I mentioned, right, the community is what raised me, so I feel obligated to give back to the community. But
Yeah.
then, like Dub said, when you have love for the game of football, it's only right that you give back to the game of football. So that's part of the reason I do all the things I do, whether it's with the youth or even the adults that I work with in the flag football community, because a lot of them, they respect the knowledge I have and they're willing to learn. And it's just a good feeling when, like, I help people in general and I see like the reciprocation that happens, and just the appreciation. It just, like, kind gesture and someone appreciating it just is like a great exchange for me, and that's what keeps me going.
100%, man.
Yeah.
100%. I love it because it's just when you see that impact, you see that
Yeah.
you made a difference. You see their facial expression, you see their happiness, and you see them kind of getting better. That's the whole
Yeah.
point of it. I mean, coaching or just being involved, in
Yeah.
whatever facet, and giving
Yeah.
back to the community.
And that's like the main driver for me. And also at a time where I feel like there's a lot of like negativity out there, right?
Oh yeah.
So I feel like it's the battle between the good and the bad, and I'm all 100% towards team good, and I'm gonna do my best to drive out the bad. So that's why I like working with the youth in particular, not just to help them develop their like football game, but also to prevent them from going down any bad paths, because there's also a lot of mentorship that's going on when I'm training these kids, right? I'm teaching them a lot of traits that'll help them, follow rules, respect authority, and just be better members of the community moving forward, especially when they become adults, and that's what Dub did for us. So it's only right we do it for them, right? And it's funny because everyone will always complain about, the younger generations, but then the question is, what did you do for them? How did you try and influence them in a positive way? If you didn't do nothing, then I mean, why are you complaining?
Yeah.
If you could have helped them when they needed it, but you didn't. So that's part of the ideology I have. So that when they get older, if they're doing well, then we can say, okay, well, that's good because that's what we were shooting for.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
So let me share something with you.
Oh yeah.
Let me get here real quick. Wait. Let me find. Oh, is that it? I have to go back. 1 sec. Let me get this going just for all time's sake.
Oh, you bringing the hawk out?
Yes, sir. You saw the caption of my post of the the announcement.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, make sure.
And the high school I went to, we were the I want to say the first football team to do the haka and to actually introduce it.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to look up Kohoku High School haka,
Kohoku High School.
yeah, Kohoku High School.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. But first, let's play this for
I'd
everyone.
like to say we were the first ones to do the haka in the sport of football.
Really, your high school?
Yeah, our high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got a strong Polynesian culture out there. I mean, we're in the islands, bro.
Yeah. All right, y'all, get ready for this. Let me full screen this. Actually, no, it's again theater mode. Okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna play it. So let's play it.
Yeah. You playing it?
Yes, sir. Can you hear it?
I can't, but it's all right. They can hear it.
Oh man, it's like just not loading.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, I think a lot of people know about the haka, though. I mean,
Yeah.
especially you.
Sorry?
No, I was saying, I'm sure a lot of people know what the haka is.
Yeah, especially
me.
Huh?
Especially you, right?
Yeah, I was like, God, how you do it? Can you do like is it combat
yeah,
thing?
I mean, hands down to the thighs and to the chest. You start hitting the elbows.
You hit the elbow.
There you go.
Exactly, bro. I still remember it. Because
that's awesome.
Yeah, every time I went to, they never did it after that. It was just like, I mean, when you brought that in, I mean, and I don't know any JUCO program that did it, besides, the SJCC, because you kind of implemented that. And like, it wasn't that we didn't have Polynesians or Samoans on West Valley. It was just that no one really wanted to do it. So your high school, you kind of innovated that. And now almost like all the JUCOs now, I mean, like Reedley, Sierra, when I was coaching at Whitney High School last year, varsity out in SAC, they all do it before the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
I think I saw CSM do a haka.
Oh, CSM! Cool. Oh, yeah, CSM's full of fucking Samoans, dude. Of course I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty nice. You know what I mean? But
yeah. But yeah, originally it's actually a war dance that started in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure you probably know a little bit of the history. I mean, the New Zealand All Blacks, right, in rugby. Yeah. They're the ones that are known for doing the haka.
And was it the Maoris who started it?
Yeah. So the people from New Zealand are called Maoris. Yeah.
Maoris. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually part Maori myself. I got family from New Zealand, family from Samoa. So I'm a mixed breed.
Mixed breed, brother.
Yeah.
And you're raised in Hawaii. So kind of talk to me about kind of what your upbringing has done, kind of, the different cultures. I mean, kind of having the rugby.
Essentially the Polynesian culture is all similar, whether it's Hawaii, Samoa, or New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's based around family and respect.
Right.
So usually regardless of what family you encounter out there or which island you go to, it's almost universal. And that's something that's really big out there. Especially respecting your elders or authority. So when I go different places and I don't see that, it's a little shock for me,
shock value,
but I gotta realize everyone's culture is different, right? Not everyone has a Polynesian culture like we do. So that's part of how we're raised and how we do things out there.
100%, man. And y'all fucking ball at the end of the day. You know what I mean? NFL factories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess I can close out this interview with any last thoughts for you on what's store for Manu for the next 5-10 years.
Oh, sorry. What was that? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, closing thoughts and kind of talk to me kind of what's the future hold for Manu Ngatikaura, man.
Oh man, closing thoughts. I think I touched up on some points that I wanted. Mainly the athletes who are pursuing their football career right now. Believe in yourself, which means that you can go no matter what level you're at. If you're at JC, you can compete against D1 athletes. If you're a D1 or D2, you can compete against NFL athletes. Just have a strong belief system, which also works with being confident in yourself, right? But that comes with preparation too. Obviously you gotta, research, watch a lot of content out there, which goes into my other point of working hard, right?
Right.
It's just like I said, when I was at San Jose City, a lot of people would say, oh, I want to, go D1, but they wouldn't be out there on the field working out, right? And I felt like I was out there by myself most of the time. And it got to a point where I was getting teased for working out by myself. I remember people would jokingly say, oh, that's the guy that works out by himself, right? And I mean, 14 years later, I'm still working out. So, I mean, it's a lifestyle, like Dub says. So
you see me out there.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna have to connect though.
Hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna either do a side or, you know what I mean, just like that. So, that's all I'm doing. I'm throwing now. So I got you.
So yeah, I mean, just believe in yourself. Hard work, as they say, pays off. And then for me, in the next 5 years, I feel like I'll be doing similar things, just keeping my hands in different pots and just, focusing on building up the community, right?
Yeah, all it's about community.
Yeah, and then who knows? I was looking into possibly expanding with the training I do.
Yeah.
Right now I'm not doing it full time, because I'm focused on other areas. But I mean, down the line, if I feel like doing that, maybe I'll announce it or let people know that. We're gonna get serious.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, I mean, the Manu Ngatikaura Enterprises, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, it was fun, man. Thanks again for having me.
100%. It was great having you, brother, man. It was good talking after 12 years, man. I mean,
I know.
It's crazy. Me talking to Coach Dub after not talking 12 years, me talking to you after not talking to you for 12 years. Like, we never skipped a beat. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No.
And it comes back to a saying which I hold dear, and I'm sure you relate. Football's family. Yeah. And we're all family. It doesn't matter, how long we can just pick it up and kind of just where we left off. And I mean, this was really great for me too. For anyone who wants to follow Manu, he is my Manu Boy Jr. on Instagram and on Twitter and social media. And yeah, I mean, if you want to donate or you want to get in shape, come hit him up. Because I see him train with those bikes and shit, and I can't do that. But I mean, I can definitely work his ass out when I throw him a few slants. So you better be ready for that next time we connect.
Yeah, and to all those who are listening, hit me up for real. Like, I don't know if you might be hesitant. I know it's hard to reach out because you might feel like I might ignore it. I answer those things. If you hit me up, I'm going to tell you, all right, when you're ready, what's your schedule looking like? And we're going to get a workout in. Or if it's regarding donations, we'll deal with that too. But yeah, reach out. I'm all about interacting and just building the community, right?
100%. It's the love of community. All right, brother, man. Manu, take care, my boy. Take care.
Hey, we're going to work out.
I got you. I know, I got you. You think I got these just by chilling, man? Come on now.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Take care.
Night.
You too.
Yep.
All right.